reader's voice is one of the key elements that makes us want to keep reading. A lot of you find that first person is no problem, but third person is the challenge. We're going to look at Brandon Sanderson's The Way of Kings for examples on how to do this. I'm Kim Purcell, and this is the Busy Writer Workshop. You need thoughts. Whether it's first person or third person or omniscient, we need to get in that brain. That's why we read. We want to see what they're feeling, what their opinions are. We want to get into their humanity, into their core part of who they are. That's how the reader kind of connects to them. We're going to look at Brandon Sanderson's The Way of Kings. Such an excellent book, such an incredible series. It's the first in the popular Stormlight Archive series. I have so many students who love these books. Now, this series switches perspectives from chapter to chapter. So we're going to look at the main character, Caladan's perspective. The first time we see him, Caladan's stomach growled as he reached through the bars and accepted the bowl of slop. He pulled the small bowl, or a cup, between the bars, sniffed it, then grimaced as the caged wagon began to roll again. The sludgy gray slop was made from overcooked tallow grain, and this batch was flecked with crusted bits of yesterday's meal. All of this is told from the perspective of the character. It's how he sees the world, what he notices. It has a great hook at the beginning. He's somehow in bars, so he's in prison, but we're not really sure how or why, and we keep reading. The hook is all about pulling the reader in. How do you make them wonder? Think about the location. Can you make it interesting? Make sure that it's in a place that has some potential emotional danger or physical danger. What specific things are they seeing? Don't just describe, for example, it's a hospital hallway. No. We know what hospital hallways look like, so you don't need to talk about the white walls or the shiny floors. You could talk about the red apple that rolls out of one of the rooms. Suddenly we're interested. Whoa, that's weird. Red apple? Why is that there? So we keep reading. As you start out, we need lots of multi-sensory description. How specific can you be about any of the objects in your scene? Also, notice the sense of touch. Very important on the first page to pull the reader into the character's body so that they feel like they're actually there. I'm going to get you to pause me now. Add in all the multi-sensory details that you can think of. Go through your senses. How do you add thoughts in third person? Well, it's the same way you do it in first person. You get in their body, you imagine, what are they thinking? How would they respond to everything they're seeing, experiencing? What are their opinions about the people in the scene? And maybe some backstory, some background of where they've been, what they've been doing. Okay, so let's jump into this scene and look at how Brandon Sanderson does it. Revolting though it was all he would get. We get his opinion that it's revolting, and we also get the information that there's nothing else. He began to eat, legs hanging out between the bars, watching the scenery pass. The other slaves in his cage clutched their bowls protectively, afraid that someone might steal from them. One of them tried to steal Caladan's food on the first day. He'd nearly broken the man's arm. Now everyone left him alone. Suited him just fine. Okay, so right there we get a ton of thoughts, right? We're getting that personality. It's kind of tough, kind of gruff. So if you were in first person, one of them tried to steal my food on the first day. Same thing. I nearly broke that man's arm. Now everyone leaves me alone. Suits me just fine. Okay? So same thing, except in third person. If you're in third person past, stay in third person past for the thoughts also. Now, if you switch to first person in the thoughts, well, you are going to have to italicize it. I don't recommend quotation marks, even if you do put present tense and first person for the thoughts. Italics are better. You know, the reason is that quotation marks sound like someone's talking and then the reader is kind of, what? Someone talked? Oh no, it's a thought. So you want to avoid confusing the reader. He ate with his fingers, careless of the dirt. Okay, so sense of touch. We're getting into his body. He stopped noticing dirt months ago. Again, that's a thought. Think of it in first person. I stopped noticing dirt months ago, right? He hated that he felt some of that same paranoia that others showed. How could he not? After 8 months of beating, deprivation, and brutality, he fought down the paranoia. he wouldn't become like them, even if he'd given up everything else, even if all had been taken from him, even if there was no longer hope of escape. This one thing he would retain. He was a slave. But he didn't need to think like one. Okay, so most of those 2 paragraphs are thoughts. If you switch it to first person, you'll see that that's just his inner mind. And we're getting some background. We learn that it's 8 months that he's been in this situation. We learn it wasn't always like that. We learn that he doesn't have so much hope of escape, and we learn that he's fierce and he's proud and he's going to try to still remain himself in his mind. Now you're going to start your chapter. Hook the reader by making them wonder about something. Add multisensory setting descriptions. Show the characters' thoughts, reactions, their opinions. Set your timer for 15 minutes and try to write as much as you can, okay? If you found this useful, please let me know. Write a comment, ask a question, and you can even make requests for other books for me to talk about, maybe your favorite book. I would appreciate it if you subscribe and like the video, share it with your people. Let's write these books and finish them. This is the Busy Writer Workshop. Bye-bye. Happy writing, everyone.